You're helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access
Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to this winter edition of our Commissioner Conference. Any unfinished business or correspondence?
Okay.
All right, excellent. First on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting dated December 8th, 2020 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve invoices in the amount of $1,694.02 for the period of December 9th through December 17th, 2020.
So moved.
Second, whatever.
Properly moved and seconded. I think we got a little time delay between here and.
Yeah.
So maybe if I talk faster, that'll work.
That's the smoke signals from now on.
Okay. Probably moved in second. We call for a vote now, right? Any discussion on that? Call for a vote?
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to approve pending invoices in the amount of $859,734.90.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote?
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion that the actual gross payroll in the amount of $259,870.04 be approved for payment for the period November 22nd through December 5th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion that the tentative gross payroll in the amount of $249,360 be approved for payment for the period December 6th through December 19th, 2020.
Make that motion.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-08, appointing the firm of Boning and Scattergood Incorporated as bond counsel to advise and assist the county on handling matters related to the county's debt financings, particularly as to the examination of refunding opportunities. Payment fee will be contingent on the closing of any transactions based on a percentage of the principal amount of said bonds.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? So we retained them. There is money pretty cheap out there right now. So we were looking at options into saving the county money, working on our debt service. So yeah, and that is a fee that will not be paid unless we actually do something with it. So this is it's just procedural at this point. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to enter into a participation agreement with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania to provide for counties and county-related entities of the Commonwealth to make available, provide unemployment compensation coverage and benefits.
So moved.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? This is standard in end of the year. Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to enter into an agreement with Heather Wells of DuBois to provide office cleaning services to District Judge Anzana's offices in Reynoldsville for the period January 1st to December 31st, 2021 in the amount of $185 per month.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to enter into a legal services contract with Scott Allen to discharge the duties of Assistant Public Defender, Juvenile in and for Jefferson County at a yearly rate of $24,500 for the year 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
This is the same as last year.
Same as last year.
That did not increase.
Okay. Excellent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to enter into a legal services contract with Fred Hummel to discharge the duties of Assistant Public Defender in and for Jefferson County at a yearly rate of $24,000 for 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Again, this is the same as it is in 2020.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers? Mr. Pisarcik?
We need another yes from you, Herb.
Yes. Mr. Robinson.
We absolutely got.
No, I just heard you say yes, Jeff. I have not heard anything. I don't know quite what's going on here.
All right, we just need a call for, or no. Where were we?
How's he voting for the?
Yeah, how's your voting for the,
Fred Hummel.
Fred Hummel? You voting yes, sir?
Okay, so yes on Fred. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Got them all. Motion carries. Next under the agenda, looking for a motion to reappoint Diane Knight of Brockway and Karen Allgaier of Brookville to the Community Connections of Clearfield Jefferson County's Advisory Board. Both terms will expire December 31st, 2023.
So moved.
So moved. A second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Yeah, they served us before their reappointments. And I believe Karen is still the chair of that committee. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to adopt the 2021 annual budget and tax levy and appropriation resolution with modifications.
Make that motion.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I will elaborate. The 2021 budget has general funds, revenues of $14,963,348 and expenditures of $16,336,763, which is being presented with a deficit of $1,373,000. $1,373,415. And this deficit's gonna be paid for out of fund balance. So we're not asking for any tax increase at this time for 2021. It'll remain the same at 12.5 mils. The deficit is largely due to the change in health insurance, with the county going to a higher deductible and self-funding a portion of the deductible for the employees. The change to children and youth, they have the county's 100% responsible for cost for congregate care, program.
Which is new ones. It used to be paid for by the state.
Right, and
Yeah, that's-
there's no match for state or federal.
The Family First legislation that was passed 2 years ago takes effect this year.
Liquid fuels 2021 expenditures is very minimal, 173,330. Debt service for 2021 expenditure budget is $1,646,807.
Excellent. Thank you, Veronica. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, looking for a motion to appoint Scott Seeley of Brookville to the Assessment Appeals Board.
So moved.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. Pisarcik?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, I'd like to open the floor to Mr. Tracy Zentz, our Director of Emergency Services, for an update. Are you there, Tracy?
I am. Good morning. I'll kind of give you 2 updates. I'll give you an update on our winter weather event that we had yesterday within the county. During that 24-hour period, we handled 131 calls for service from the 911 center. We had 6 people answering the call, batching the emergency units out. Most of those calls, this is a combination of all the calls for the day, but most of those calls were weather related. But we also handled quite a few EMS calls that were COVID related to an extent. We had a pretty significant closure on Interstate 80 yesterday around the 74-mile marker in Union Township, where a tractor trailer went through the guardrail, spilled diesel fuel, and while the fire department was on scene of that accident, a secondary accident came down and struck the back of the Corsica Fire Department's fire engine that eventually closed the interstate down for several hours. Thankfully, none of the first responders were hurt out there, but it just gives you an example of how quick conditions can change for our first responders when they're out there handling these type of incidents. Like I said, everybody is okay. The engine is out of service for Corsica. And I just want to remind everybody, these are some of the reasons that we have the steer clear law. That if you're coming up on an accident, or the state police or tow truck or anybody out there working along our interstate highways, to move over, give them as much room as possible and to slow down when you're going through there. Just a quick second, things can change very quickly. The other thing I just want to mention is snowfall amounts in the county. We looked at around Clear Creek between 12 and 16 inches. The Brockway area 12, Punxsutawney seen 14 and a half, Brookville 14, and the O area received 12 inches. So pretty much we've seen anywhere from 12 to 14 inches on average countywide. Just want to remind the public to let the public works crews continue to clean the roads, get them opened up and cleared up. And if anyone lives around a fire hydrant, if you could help our fire departments by shoveling that out and keeping it visible in the event of a fire. To give you an update on our COVID situation within the county, As of this morning, we've seen another 25 cases added, which brings our December total up to 572 cases. As we're looking at it, we're seeing the numbers of cases reported starting to come down. We've seen a peak around December 7th, where we had a total of 51. And since then, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but things are coming down. We continue to work with our long-term care facilities and assisted living facilities as they're seeing an increase in COVID cases as well. And I'm going to guess we probably have about 80% of our EMS calls that we dispatch daily is related to COVID somehow, whether it's an exposure, someone tested positive, or waiting for test results to come back. We have been working with the Department of Health and the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, where we'll be doing a mass testing within the county sometime around the end of January. The Department of Health has partnered with the group called AMI to do this testing. We have our plan in place. We're ready to respond to that once we have all the particulars and the location secured up. So once that occurs, we will put out a release to the public. It'll be open to anybody. It doesn't have to be a resident from Jefferson County, and anyone from the surrounding areas that want to come and get tested, that will be available to them as well. Unfortunately, we have seen 2 more deaths reported, and we're up to 20 deaths now within the county from COVID-19, with the majority of those deaths occurring just here in the months of November and December. So that's where we're at right now. Total cumulative cases of 1,508. This is as reported from the Department of Health, active and probable. So that's all I have right now. A few months ago, it was like looking into a dark tunnel. All we could see is black, but now we're looking at that tunnel again, and we can see a dim light at the end there. So some positive things are happening, and hopefully we'll have a resolution to all this once the vaccines start rolling into the county as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Hey, the locations for the countywide testing at the end of January, have those been determined, or will we announce those at a later date?
We're going to announce them at a later date. We have the site picked. We're working on some logistical issues right now, and once that's all secured, then we will make that announcement.
Okay, and we'll put that announcement in the paper, on the websites, Facebook, wherever we can.
Absolutely, and we are planning this for trying to get around the center of the county, so it's not too far for anyone to travel.
Excellent. Thank you, Tracy. Please pass along to the dispatchers. Excellent job yesterday, and keep up the good fight.
Will do. The staff really pulled together yesterday. They really did an awesome job.
That's the expectation that you've set, Tracy, so nice job to you. All right.
Thanks, guys. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Tracy. You as well.
Thanks, Tracy.
All right. I have a couple of announcements. All county offices will be closed on December 24th and 25th in observance of Christmas. The offices will be closed again January 1st. In observance of New Year's. The next commissioner virtual meeting will be on January 12th at 2021 at 10:30 a.m. This time, I'd like to open the floor to public comments. See if we see anything out there. I don't see anything on the chat, but we'll give you a couple more minutes or so, or seconds. All right, questions on the 3.9 million CARES Act funding. What wasn't allowed to be spent on? Who decided where it went? Is it allocated yet? Can the expense sheet be discussed further in person? This is from Chad Heidinger, so we'll read that question again. what was it allowed to be spent on? I guess that was a federal guideline on how that worked. You had to show a loss from 2000, a difference between your revenues in 2019 and 2020 that were directly COVID related. If you had the paperwork for that, that's how it was determined.
Well, first you had to be a 501c3 or a 501c19,
Okay,
which 19s are usually your veterans organizations.
okay,
And then everything you just said followed.
okay. And then, who decided where it went? Our qualification was simple. If you asked for it and you qualified, then you got up to $10,000 of the CARES Act. We did not, there was not a hand pick. It was just a math and paperwork issue.
And basically they qualified until we ran out of money if they had all their paperwork in correctly.
Yes.
And that followed the guidelines, not the counties, but the feds and states.
And is it all allocated yet? That question is yes, it has been allocated.
Yep.
Can the expense sheet be discussed further in person? I'm not sure what,
Our offices are closed, you can always call.
yes, you can always call in. So hopefully, Chad, I answered your questions there. Any further questions, comments from the public? And then before I skipped over Jamie, so Jamie, can we get an economic development update?
Sure, Jack. So we've been working with Nine Star Development, and the county has been working with a RACP grant. And, we have some good news that Nine Star has, entered an agreement with a non-disclosed developer, with a sale of 140 acres to begin developing on that property. We are asking for another extension for another year for the RACP, just so we can get the, project completed. But it's good news, and there'll be further information as it evolves, but to report that it could be an investment of up to $15 million to the county. So I think congratulations to Nine Star, of course, and the commissioners for standing beside them, and hopefully we see some progress soon. So I think it's a great end of the year story.
Excellent. Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Dave, Dave,
Yeah, you have anything for us, Dave? Veronica? Karen? And we do have from Nick, he wants to wish everybody, or just all of us, I'm not sure if it's just all of us, it might be everybody, a happy holiday season. So any other questions from the press? I don't see anything. What do you think?
No.
All right. All right, yeah, so from the Commissioner's office, I'd like to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season. Like Tracy Zen said, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We said a couple meetings ago, we had a mile of hardship to go through. We're getting closer to the end, it feels like that, but we still need to take our precautions, be safe, wash your hands, social distance, wear your masks. Wherever you can, just protect your neighbors out there, and everyone be safe. So, looking for a motion that the meeting be adjourned.
So
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Mr. Mattson,
Yes.
Mr. Bullers,
Yes.
Mr. Sargent.
yes.
Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.